Navarro on the run. Navarro's going to keep it. Navarro for 6. Touchdown, Bobcat.
I feel I had a hard time staying in my own lane.
Oh my goodness! Red Murdoch, pick 6.
Harvath inside the 30 to 20. Blake Harvath will score.
And Mendoza takes a big hit. He never saw it coming. Trey White got in there.
There's his man, Rucker. And nobody's going to catch him. Goodbye.
Intercepted. Tom Reeves, skipper. Touchdown.
Telly again, why not? A step forward and make it 2 for Telly.
Quarterback keeper showing off the speed. Steps on the gas. Untouched.
The G5 Hive. All G5, all the time.
Welcome to the G5 Hive, where we bring you the G5 college football coverage you love each and every week. I'm Luke. I'm back after a week out, joined by my co-host, Justice. If you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. And if you're watching us on X, please give us a follow, a like, a retweet. If you're listening to us in podcast form, please rate and review. So, Justice, big announcement. We went live Friday night. We had a lot to talk about. But yeah, here's a chance to talk about it a little bit more.
Yeah, we launched our website on Friday.
Heck yeah, we did.
If you haven't had a chance to check it out, I would encourage you to go to that announcement video on our YouTube page. I also tweeted it from our X account a little while ago. If just in case you're interested in learning more. Obviously, we've had some questions. The current version of the website, I would say, is really geared towards folks that play college fantasy football. If you're really, really into data, then perhaps there's something there for you as well. This is kind of version 1 of the website. And as we build it out, it'll just continue to grow. And eventually it'll have stuff for all college football fans, G5 college football fans, etc. But this is our version 1. We're providing things that don't exist anywhere else in terms of managing your college fantasy football teams. I won't get into a lot of details, but like I said on that announcement video, these are tools that I have built over the last 5 or 6 years that I have personally used, and now they're available for everybody. And like I said, they don't exist anywhere else. We'll have some testimonials from users that will be tweeted out this week. We tweeted out one, I think, this morning. We'll have more coming throughout the week. But yeah, man, it's pretty awesome. We have a special right now. GView G5 Hive VIP promo code. You get half off your first year. Normal price is $99.99 a year. You will get it for $49.99 for your first year. In addition to the CFF tools, college fantasy football tools, all the various things we have in the data suite, subscribers also get instant access to our Worker Bee series. Those videos are typically a 2-week lag from the time we record till they're produced or published, I should say, for the public on YouTube. But our subscribers would get instant access to those as soon as they are available. But they're still going to be available to the public. It'll go out just like the normal schedule, like we've done the last 2 years. So that's just a perk for being a subscriber. And thanks for everyone that signed up, and thanks for the support. And if you want to learn more, go check out that announcement video. Got screenshots. We talk about it, et cetera, et cetera.
On to the Sun Belt Conference Week 8 in review. We had Tuesday night game, Arkansas State at South Florida, and we had ourselves a good old-fashioned rock fight. Both teams got to third down so many times and had to punt 19 punts in this one. Just a rock fight of any rock fight. But we're going to move over to the fourth quarter where it got interesting. It's 14-3. And Arkansas State has it's 14-3, South Alabama. Arkansas State has the ball. They get a field goal to cut the lead 14-16. Next, South Alabama possession would end in a sack fumble, but they would recover it, punt to Arkansas State. Then it became the Jalen Rayner show. They had 42-yard run on first down by Rayner, followed by a 6-yard touchdown pass from Rayner to Hunter Summers, but they would fail the 2-point conversion. So Arkansas State trails 12-14. South Alabama would lean on their running game, and they had a 15-play drive that featured 13 runs, 1 incomplete pass, and it was capped off by a missed 29-yard field goal. What would Arkansas State do with the ball? Down 2, starting at their own 20. It seemed like every play was 8 or 9 yards for the Red Wolves. The next thing you knew, Arkansas State was at the South Alabama 34. Arkansas State runs the ball and forces South Alabama to use their timeouts. And then we have the kicker kicks the 38-yard game-winning field goal as time expires. Arkansas State wins 15-14.
That last drive of the game, it felt like Coach Jones was kind of mismanaging it, right? Like, kind of felt like what are you doing, man? Like, you need to get down there and score. And they were just kind of like, for lack of a better word, kind of taking their time, right? I mean, it worked out at the end of the day, but man, like, it just really seemed like there wasn't like, I don't know, maybe they were just calm, cool, and collected, but it didn't really seem like there was a big sense of urgency in that last drive from Arkansas State. Maybe it went exactly like they planned. I don't know, but from my perspective, I was like, I was getting a little bit nervous. I'm like, man, like, you're gonna freaking run out of clock because you mismanaged it so bad. But at the end of the day, they ended up winning the game. So,
all right, let's move over to our Saturday games. Troy at UL Monroe. This one was close up to midway into the third. It was 17-14 in favor of Troy. Troy kicks a field goal. Then ULM's next possession, a sack fumble that Troy scores on an 11-yard Trey Taylor touchdown run. 27-14 in favor of Troy. ULM's next 5 possessions, interception, fumble, interception that gets returned for a touchdown, turnover on downs, and a punt. ULM has 140 yards in the second half, 6 points compared to only 80 yards, but 20 points from Troy as Troy was set up in good field position all second half. And Troy wins this one 37-14.
yeah, I mean, Troy's a team like we talked about when in the rankings. They have really kind of turned things around. They lost Goose Crowder and losing him just like last year. The first couple games they looked lost, didn't look good at all, and then all of a sudden, I don't know, like things seem to be clicking for Tucker Kilcrease. He's playing a whole lot better for the Trojans. They're right in the mix in the Sun Belt West, and they're right there with Southern Miss, gonna make for a good matchup when those two teams hook up and have to play each other.
All right, Justice. Now we got to keep it short. It was my player of the week because I couldn't feel like it could be your player of the week, even though, maybe I should have made you had this guy as your player of the week. But Old Dominion, James Madison, huge game. James Madison wins this one big, 63-27. What do you got to say, Justice?
Well, Blooming Onion, I'm sorry. I cannot absolutely 100%. I can't do that. I cannot join the dark side and become a JMU fan. I am an Old Dominion alum. My hatred for JMU goes back to the Kent Kaluko days. For those that don't know, that was basketball before ODU had a football team, and Kent Kaluko drained a three-pointer to beat us in that might have been like the first time we were in the Sun Belt. I don't remember, but they beat us in the conference tournament, and like from there, my hatred for JMU has always grown. But kudos to JMU. They've owned us since they've moved up, and not just in football, women's basketball, men's basketball, etc. Really, the only thing I feel like you could talk about is when ODU first started football, we owned JMU when we were both in the FCS, but that's many, many years ago. On to the game. So the first half, super, super exciting. It was it looked like, hey, whoever has the ball last is going to win this game. Neither defense stopped either offense. Colton Joseph had a great game. Trey Brown was having a great game. Obviously, Alonzo Barnett III was having a great game. It looked like the game was going to live up to the billing, that this was going to be maybe the best game of the Sun Belt of the year. And then the second half happened, and it was ugly, man. So I was up in Pennsylvania this weekend, and I attended a Division III game on Saturday that started at, I think, 1:00. And I have a buddy. He's an equipment manager for a D3 school, and his school had 7 yards of total offense in the first half. And I was like, man, that was some of the ugliest football I've ever seen. Well, ODU in the second half of this game said, "Hold my beer," because up until the last drive of the game in the second half, they had -1 yards of total offense. They got 9 yards on that last drive in garbage time. I still couldn't get a first down, but they got 9 yards, and they ended up with 8 yards of total offense. The second half was just ugly. They couldn't get anything going. Turnovers. Colton Joseph threw 2 interceptions. They had another punt fumble. This time it was the backup quarterback, Quinn Enicle, back there returning punts, which just seemed a very odd choice to me, because I doubt he's ever returned punts in his life. I don't know. I feel like high school teams don't typically put their quarterback back there to return punts. Maybe he did. I don't know. Yeah, man, it was ugly. It was a beatdown. The defense of Old Dominion never stopped the JMU offense at all. Alonzo Barnett III, like, to me, this was the first game he looked like what you might expect, right? How he looked before the injury. Up to this point, I thought maybe he was still recovering, because I didn't think he looked great. But man, they looked great this game. We've been talking about how JMU's kind of turned it on in the second half of the previous games, and like, they played well in the first half, at least offensively, not so well defensively. But man, they turned it on in the second half. Said, I think ODU had 270 some yards in the first half and only have like 8 in the second half. Pretty amazing adjustments by the staff. Kudos to JMU on the win. Man, like, I don't know. I'm still pretty dejected by the game. I went to the Ricky Ronnie press conference today to record it, and I didn't even feel like asking questions, because I was just like, I don't know. I'm still pretty dejected. So, but congrats to JMU.
It's not really a review or anything, but I do have a question. You had mentioned, this is the best team that, Ricky Ronnie has had. If we don't win it this year, like, do you think he's on the hot seat?
Well, I would like to think so. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he only has 1 year under contract after this year. And so, like, I feel like at the end of this year, like, you have to do something, right? You can't leave him hanging for a year, because it's going to screw up the recruiting, right? And so, I don't know. Maybe he wins out, and they have 9 wins, and he saves his job. But I can tell you, like, ODU fans do not like losing to JMU, and that's what we've done the last several years in all 3 major sports. I think Ricky Ryan's a good guy. I think he seems to get a lot out of less talented teams. But this year, like, and I realize we just lost to JMU and got our butts kicked. But from my perspective, from a pure talent perspective, I think ODU is the most talented team in the Sun Belt. And so, but they haven't played like that. Like, they just, they just killed themselves with turnovers. 2 weeks ago at Marshall. This week, they just, I don't know, just the coaching staff has not been able to, I feel like, maximize the ability of this team the last 2 weeks. I don't know the reasons why or whatever. Carrie, yes, you're absolutely correct. They did. And and the amazing thing was, like I said, ODU had 200 and I want to say 270 yards at halftime. So you would have thought ODU would have broke the streak, right? That they would have gotten at least 31 yards to give them 301. But man, it was the second half was just brutal. But yeah, many ODU fans want Ricky Ronnie gone. I think more fans are clamoring for the athletic director Wood Selig to be gone, necessarily than Ricky Ronnie. I don't know. We'll see. A big game this week. We'll get to it in a minute.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's move on to a fun one in this one. Coastal Carolina at App State. Coastal's down 34-31 going into the fourth quarter. A long App State drive leads to a field goal to increase their lead to 6. Coastal responds with almost an identical long drive, but theirs ends with a touchdown. They're up 38-37. App State goes for it on 4th and 7 on their own 22. J.J. Cole completes a path, but is short of the first down marker. We've got a turnover on downs. Coastal wastes no time. They score a touchdown in 20 seconds, go up 45-37 with 1:56 left in the game. App State's marching down the field, but time is running out with 37 seconds left from Coastal's 47. It's 3rd and 25. J.J. Cole gets sacked, fumbles the ball. Coastal recovers. Coastal wins on the road 45-37. I will say in this one, App State's offense is clicking more. J.J. Cole's been playing really good football. He's not turning over in the red zone. He's got like 7 touchdowns in his 3 starts. That's pretty good. But tackling did not look good for App State, especially in the first half. Like Coastal had a bubble screen that App State missed like 3 tackles and they scored a touchdown. Defense did not look very crisp on Saturday for App State.
Yeah, this one surprised me a little bit. Like, I don't know. I've been of the opinion that Coastal Carolina is not a very good team, but I guess they played better the last couple of weeks since the ODU loss. But I thought App State's been playing well offensively all year. It's kind of been the defense, I feel like, that's kind of let them down. Other than the games when AJ Swan was turning the ball over. But this game did surprise me.
I'm trying to remember the 3 quarterbacks in that they have, because MJ Morris, the guy that they had
Tad
starting,
Hudson they had MJ Morris, Tad Hudson, and then Samari Collier.
So Samari Collier got the start. Then he got hit. MJ Morris had to come in for a little bit. He actually looked pretty good, but he just ran the ball. Collier came back in. Tad Hudson didn't even travel with the team. Collier looked pretty good when he was in there.
Yeah. Surprising. And then you saw the flag plant, right? I don't know if you saw that, Luke, but
I did not.
Coastal Carolina tried to do they're playing at App State. They did a flag plant on the Mountaineers field, and then there was a big brawl after the game. So I don't know. Stay tuned. There could be some repercussions from that brawl in terms of maybe half game suspensions or some kind of punishment. So stay tuned. Be interesting to see.
All right, then we get into another fun one here in the Sun Belt. Texas State at Marshall. Marshall's defense forced Texas State into a lot of third downs, forced 3 turnovers, 2 fumbles, 1 INT. Marshall turned all of those turnovers into points, 13 to be exact. This one would go into 2 overtimes. Both teams would score touchdowns in the first overtime, and Texas State would get the ball first in the second overtime. Field goal for them. Marshall gets a touchdown on a 1-yard Joshawn Barbie touchdown run. Marshall's won 2 in a row and 4 of their last 5, and they're putting up points in the loss. Brad Jackson, 444 yards and 2 touchdowns with 48 on the ground and a touchdown to add it on the ground. But Marshall, like I said, wins in 2 overtimes, 40-37. Defense isn't quite there. I thought the defense actually might be one of the better parts of Marshall's of their team, with offense lacking, but it's been the offense lately, and Marshall
absolutely
looking like they're kind of finding their rhythm right now.
Yeah, and then Texas State, like we talked about last week, has GJ Kinney kind of lost his luster. He always seems to kind of be the one of the first names mentioned from a G5 perspective that might get a P4 job. And I talked about last week, like I just don't see it, man, because like his teams always seem to underachieve at the last few years at Sunbelt, and what's this? I think this is 3 in a row they've lost, right?
I think so.
Not good for a team that was, I think probably the favorite to win the Sun Belt West. Like that looks like a pipe dream at this point.
All right, now let's move over to Southern Miss at Louisiana. Missed opportunities for Louisiana in the first half for this one. They're up 7-0 on Southern Miss. Southern Miss misses a field goal. Louisiana then throws an interception that then Southern Miss ties the game at 7. Southern Miss throws an interception. Louisiana has the ball at the Southern Miss 18, and they just can't move the ball at all. They miss a 36-yard field goal. Southern Miss turns that into 7 points of their own. Walker Howard takes over for Lunch Winfield after he throws an interception. Southern Miss hits a 52-yard field goal before the half to go up 13-7. Lunch returns for the second half, and Louisiana has 5 drives: field goal, punt, fumble, turnover on downs, and a safety. Southern Miss highlight of the second half with a 98-yard touchdown toss from Braxton to Micah Davis to put the Golden Eagles up 20-10. Southern Miss goes on to win this one 22-10.
Yeah, I mean,
Go.
I was gonna say the Southern Miss kind of, I don't know, like they look to be probably the best team in the West right now. They're probably them or Troy. And that'd be
Yep.
just think about the turnaround, right? Like a year ago at this time, they had just fired their head coach Will Harris, and now they're competing
One win.
for now they're competing for the Sun Belt West title. Like that's a pretty remarkable turnaround in a year. Obviously, it helps when you hire the conference championship head coach. He brings over, I don't know, 30 or so players from that roster. That clearly helps, but still, nonetheless, remarkable job there in Hattiesburg by Coach Huff.
All right, Georgia State, Georgia Southern, 7 p.m. Eastern, last kickoff for the Sun Belt. Let's move over to the late third, beginning of the fourth quarter. It's 24-20 in favor of Georgia State. Georgia Southern scores a touchdown, and that's fueled by a 35-yard pass from French to O.J. Arnold. Set them up at the Georgia State 2. Now, with that touchdown, it's now 27-24 Georgia Southern. Georgia State would fumble after a completed pass around the Georgia Southern 34-yard line. Southern would recover. They would proceed to march it down the field for a touchdown, 34-24 Georgia Southern. Georgia State has a 3-and-out. Southern scores a touchdown thanks to 2 big O.J. Arnold runs of 14 and 15 yards on the drive. Georgia State's next possession is a turnover on downs. Georgia Southern comes back in the fourth quarter to pull this one out, 41-24. Georgia State had 120 yards and penalties in this one, so that's obviously not going to get it done, but a big fourth quarter from Georgia Southern.
Do you think the seat is warm for Del McGee? Like, you've seen some of their biggest fans and supporters, and his biggest fans and supporters on X seem to kind of be clamoring that maybe he's not the guy. I don't know. Seems to be a great recruiter, but the coaching seems to leave a lot to be desired.
I bet he gets one more year, but it'll be like one of those like maybe short leashes next year.
Yeah.
All right. Week 9 preview, Thursday game, South Alabama at Georgia State. South Alabama favored by 6.5. Over under set at 56.5. I want no part of this game. I have no idea. Pair of 0-3 teams in the Sun Belt, 1-6. I could see South Alabama just torching Georgia State. I could see South Alabama has trouble tackling. I could see Georgia State just throwing the ball a whole bunch and the over under of 56.5 just gets obliterated. I see so many different possibilities. I'm just going to watch. It'll be interesting nonetheless.
I think the Panthers get the win this week. It being at home, disappointing loss against their rival in Georgia Southern. I think they take it out on South Alabama. South Alabama is a team that's like, I don't know, they're just very puzzling because they have the pieces to be better than they are, right? You got Bishop Davenport, Kentrell Bullock, Devin Vosen, Anthony Eager. At least offensively, like they got quality players at those skill positions, and I mean I don't really know what's ailing them. I'm assuming it's turnovers and penalties, and making timely mistakes at inopportune moments. But man, like it seems to happen to them every single week. Yeah, I think the Panthers are gonna get a win here for Del McGee at home against South Alabama.
All right, now let's move over to our Saturday games. Got App State at ODU. ODU favored by 13.5. Over under set at 63.5. Old Dominion's defense hasn't been looking as lights out as you would think.
Yeah.
I almost I think I might take the over 63.5. I think this could be a huge offensive game because, like I said, with JJ Cole back there, App State's kind of looked closer to what they looked like in the first couple weeks of the season. But he's a statue back there. So if ODU can get to JJ Cole, it could be a lot of sacks.
That's the one thing that I look back at the last two games and what did Marshall have? What did JMU have? Had two very mobile quarterbacks in Carlos Del Rio Wilson and Alonzo Barnett III, and App State doesn't have that. And so I think that's good news for Old Dominion. This is Old Dominion's homecoming game. It is a noon start, so it's a pretty early game. Man, I hope the guys get it together. They're too talented of a team to have the two showings that they did the last 2 weeks. I know the players feel embarrassed. The players aren't happy with what happened the last 2 weeks, and they want to do better. But this, to me, this is a critical game because if they lose this game, lose 3 in a row, man, I could see the wheels kind of falling off, especially in this day and age, right? Guys, start questioning, hey, well, I'm probably not going to be at Old Dominion next year. I'm going to go play at this school or that school, and they're going to give me this or that, and so I need to worry about my health. And I don't know, I hate to say those kinds of things, but just in today's college football landscape, that's a reality.
So something will be interesting because you'll be at the game. I want to know what Jakari Lewis looks like in person.
Yeah.
He just seems to run through the tackles really well, utilizing the passing game. He seems like an all-around back. He's a true freshman. I'm curious at what he looks like in person.
I mean, App State's another team we have trouble with. We have trouble with Marshall. We have trouble with JMU, and App State's another one we have trouble with. I think we've only ever beat them once in our history, and it was the last time we played them at Old Dominion. I'm hoping to see more fight from the Monarchs in this one, and hopefully they can get the win and get things turned back around and go on a long win streak and maybe win 9 games on the season, which would be most. I think before the season, if you told Old Dominion fans that ODU won 9 games, they'd be ecstatic. Unfortunately, I think the way it's played out, they're not going to be so happy because there was hope of so much more that's kind of faded a lot at this point. But hopefully they can get things turned around against App State for homecoming this week.
All right, Louisiana Monroe at Southern Miss, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. Southern Miss favored by 11.5 points, over under set at 50.5. I don't know what's going on with UL Monroe as of late, but they're kind of in a little tailspin. Southern Miss clicking. I look for Southern Miss to keep things rolling. I'm going to lay the points with the 11.5 with Southern Miss.
Yeah, two teams kind of going opposite direction, right? Southern Miss ascending to the top, UL Monroe going to the bottom. Their quarterback play isn't good. Talked about it last week. If UL Monroe can't run the ball, they really don't have much else going on offense. Southern Miss seems to be playing well, and like I said, great turnaround there by Charles Huff. I agree with you. Give me Southern Miss minus the 11.5.
All right, Louisiana at Troy, 7 p.m. kickoff. Troy favored by 8.5. Over under set at 47.5. I'm going to stay clear of this one. Troy 8.5 is, I think, a big number, but their defense has been playing well. Like if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna lay the points with Troy. But I don't like that 8.5 number. But I look for Troy to win this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be interesting to kind of see what happens there with the quarterbacks, right? You saw Walker Howard for a brief moment. Another week away from his injury. Are they going to make a switch to back to Walker from lunch? I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. I think
they played well with Walker those first couple.
Yeah, yes, they did. They did. But they had a couple good games with lunch too. But I feel like Walker gives them the best chance at a win. So it'd be interesting to kind of see who they start at quarterback this week. I tend to agree with you. I think Troy wins, but it's not a game that I'd feel comfortable putting any money on.
All right, Georgia Southern at Arkansas State. Another game I'm going to stay away from. Both teams 3-4 coming into this one. Arkansas State favored by 2.5 at home. Over under set 62.5. Again, Georgia Southern, Jekyll and Hyde team think they're going to win. They get blown out. Think they're going to get blown out. They make a close game. They win. Arkansas State just hasn't been playing well all season long. This one, it might be more fun to watch because you're like watching a train wreck.
Yes,
this is what this could turn into.
Absolutely, I agree. Like, I don't think I'd want to bet on this game. Like, but to your point, like, Georgia Southern's very up and down. Arkansas State, they other than the game against Texas State. I mean, I know they won last week, but they didn't look good. Like the Texas State game was the only game I feel like they've looked like maybe we had expected all year. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like the way the season's gone for both of these teams, it just kind of feels like this could be a crazy shootout competitive game. But yeah, man, from a betting perspective, it's definitely one that I would stay away from. Be interesting to see if Corey Rucker can get going. It's two good receivers. You got Camden Brown on the Georgia Southern side, Corey Rucker on the Arkansas State side. I think it'll be an entertaining game. To your point, Luke. So definitely one I wouldn't mind watching, but it's not something I'm gonna put any money on.
And Kerry says Georgia Southern just not a good road team. So maybe you do take the 2.5 there with Arkansas State and just hope and pray.
Still watching us on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. On X, give us a follow. If you're listening, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify, please subscribe and leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. Thank you all for the support. Thank each and every one of you for all the support through the website, on YouTube, on our socials. Be sure to join us, come back and join us next week as we discuss what happened in Week 8. And we look forward to Week 10 in G5 college football. And as always, bring you up to the latest news and happenings in the world of G5 college football. Until the next time, we are the G5 High.